Hey folks, Aaron here with Fleetistics. I've been the owner of Fleetistics for over 21 years. I started in the GPS tracking business when there were probably about 6 companies that were out there. The industry certainly has come a long, long way since the day we got started from the office in our house, which is ironic because here I am doing this video from the office in my house, over 21 years later. So we went from, working remotely to the office for the better part of 19, 20 years, and now we're working remote again. So things have gone full cycle. During that time frame, though, obviously technology's changed. And today I'm here to talk to you about dash cams, specifically fleet commercial dash cams. And what are some of the things that you need to be thinking about as you look at dash cams to make sure that you're getting the right dash cam for your particular business needs and your financial situation. And a lot of times, we look at these decisions, we kind of go with what we knew from the past. And as technology changes, it's important to recognize, some of these things may or may not be as important as they were in the past. The other thing is, if you have past experience to fall back on, it gives you a different perspective on how valuable the information is, how often you use it, what do you use it for, did it pay for itself? If so, how quickly did you have a single incident in 5 years of having dash cams that paid for the whole system for all those 5 years? Things like that happen. Certainly, if you can avoid liability in an accident, then that one instance can save your company potentially millions of dollars, and the whole program pays for itself many times over. So you have to kind of look at your business and decide what's going to work for you. What I'm going to try to do is just give you some information so you can make the right decision. Our primary goal at Fleetistics is today and has always been to offer multiple types of technology so the customer can ultimately make the decision to get the right technology for the lowest investment. And we're not trying to put a round peg in a square hole because we only have one solution to offer. So let's talk about dash cams. I'm going to talk about dash cams that we have and dash cams that we don't have. But there's these couple general categories that you need to be aware of, and then start to think about as you evaluate not only this technology but any technology, what are the things that you have to have in a fleet dash cam system. And it might be forward facing, it might be interior facing, it might be no audio recording or the ability to turn off audio recording. You might need exterior cameras, you might need a certain amount of memory, you might need a particular carrier for your particular area to make sure that you get good coverage. You might want artificial intelligence, you might not. So those are all things that kind of go into this list of things that you must have in order to select a dash cam. If through your process of evaluation you find a dash cam that you like, but it doesn't meet one of these particular requirements, then you have to throw it out. So once all of your must-have requirements are met, then you move down the list to the things that you would like to have in a dash cam system to make sure that you can get as many of those as you possibly can so you can get more bang for your buck. Now, keep in mind that when you make a list of things that you must have, try to keep it short. Right? Because what happens a lot of times is everybody brings in a little bit of experience, and then somebody mentions 3 things over here that are great, and then they get 3 things over here that are great, and then all of a sudden you have a list of 12 things that everybody has got to have in order to move forward. The problem is all 12 of those things aren't found in any one particular dash cam. So really narrow it down to what's most important to your business, and then make a list. And then you can also kind of build a spreadsheet, and you could prioritize or weight some of those things, and then put your camera providers in one column, and then score it all out, and then you'll get down to maybe 2 or 3 that are really the ones that are shining in the list, and you can go out and get presentations from them, or actually, if you've already gotten presentations, then actually demo cameras from those particular companies. So that process holds true whether you're looking at GPS tracking, dash cams, really any technology, anywhere in your business, really. It's a very simple process, but it is one that has proven to be accurate and viable for over 20 years of doing this. So first, let's talk about dash cam general categories. There are 2 traditional categories, which would be video, which is just straight video, right? I'm recording what's going outside, I'm recording what's going on the inside most of the time. Sometimes in unions, they fight the interior video, for whatever particular reason, invasion of privacy, whatever those arguments are. To me, it's a commercial vehicle. Someone's paying you to be in it. You're there to do a job. If the supervisor was sitting in the seat next to you, then that's the behavior you should be exhibiting if you're driving the truck alone. So not a huge deal, but sometimes that comes up, and sometimes companies have to give a little bit in order to be able to get the better overall benefit of being able to have video of some sort to protect against accident. The reality is, if that interior camera is not in there and somebody else makes a claim that, oh, I saw so-and-so, he was on his phone at the time of the accident. Well, if there's no interior video, what are you going to do, right? You're going to roll the dice and go to court and see if you lose? I don't think so. So interior and exterior, a lot of times what happens is you get the interior video and there's no audio, or the audio is turned off. So you can have a private conversation. You don't want to get health information or PCI information that you would then have to do something with to protect. So it's turning the audio off is sometimes just that much easier. So you've got basic video, and then the next category is video plus artificial intelligence. And artificial intelligence is, we'll put that in quotes, because what that really is doing is looking at driver activity while driving and then evaluating or attempting to evaluate whether or not that driver is paying attention. That's really what it comes down to. Are they tired? Are they talking on their phone? They have something up to their ear. Are they holding something in front of them? Are they looking away for an extended period of time? A lot of the higher end cameras are decent at that. The problem is they still generate false positives, and somebody has to go through all of the false positives to determine what behaviors are actually taking place. And there are certain services out there where you can pay extra for somebody else to go through the video clips for you and then flag the ones that are actual distracted driving instances. It just costs extra money. So it really depends on what your goals are here. If your goal is to prevent accidents, then video and artificial intelligence are a great way to go. If your goal is to mitigate accidents, spot check driver behavior by being able to log in and go live on a camera, then just a straight video camera is going to be sufficient in most cases. We had one customer who had a job at a construction site, and he needed to check periodically to make sure that things were happening. They had concrete trucks coming by on a set schedule, and he wanted to be able to log in and see if those trucks were actually there on time, because obviously concrete's very expensive. So it was a very interesting application, a unique one, but it didn't require artificial intelligence or a DMS, driver management system, to drive up the cost and the extra technology. He just needed to be able to spot check and go live. Some cameras will only record. Most of your fleet cameras will allow you to go live. One of the things that you want to check for, though, is make sure that the live connection is automatically disconnected. When dash cams first came out, what would happen is somebody in the office would hit live and think, oh, well, I can watch this camera all day. And then, at the end of the month, you've got a $4,000 bill on a single vehicle. Most of the camera systems today will actually cut off after about 10 or 30 seconds. So the data doesn't continue to stream, and you have to physically go back in and reestablish the live connection. And at that point, you're making a conscious decision to drive up your bill if you exceed your plan, because everybody's got some level of a plan that goes along with this, right? Some systems pool data between the entire fleet, and other systems do not. Typically the the farther you go down in cost, the fewer of these benefits you're going to receive. So, for example, we have a CrewChief Dashcam that is $19.95 a month. It comes with 500 megabytes, right? So how much video is that? Well, it depends on the resolution and things like that. So it's hard to give an exact number, but that type of program is less expensive than some of the higher end systems, which might be $28 to $30 a month. And you might get a terabyte of information included in that, and it might be pooled. So you have to look at what you're doing and how you are going to be using the cameras, and then decide what type of data plan and service scope is really going to fit your needs. I will say that most customers, and I say most, I would say 7 or 8 out of 10, will spend the first couple months looking at the data, right? This is typically how all technology goes. It's interesting, it's exciting, whatever. So you're looking at the camera more frequently, you're driving up more data consumption, and then after a couple months, either the behaviors are changed, the drivers have been changed, or the people looking at the information simply lose interest. So they move on to something else, and they only come back to it periodically when somebody says, hey, so-and-so called and said somebody was late, or something of that nature. Then you can go look at the camera footage for that time frame and see the time date stamp on it and know exactly what time they got there. So that type of thing is important to include in your decision-making process. The third type of camera program, which you're hearing about right here for the very first time, it's never happened in the industry, and it's something that Fleetistics came up with. It is called a pay-as-you-go program. And what typically happens, as I was describing, you get these data plans and you're paying for larger data services, but after the first couple months, you're not using it anymore, right? So, you're not paying for, or you're paying for something that you're not getting anything in return in because you're not using it. So what we actually came up with is a pay-as-you-go plan. And what happens is we charge a much smaller monthly fee for just basically sustaining the service, right? We still have to take phone calls. We still have to keep the back-end services going. Data is still flowing, even though it's not flowing at the same rates of transferring video. So what happens then is if you have an accident and you need to go in and pull data for a 30-second period around an accident, then you're only going to pay for the data that was transferred related to the accident. And this idea is completely revolutionary because it's going to drive down cost for customers dramatically. Because think how many months do you go at times where you don't touch the cameras, you don't have a need to view the video. Well, if you're only paying $12, $13 a month during those off months, then you're saving, perhaps from a $30 monthly fee that you would normally have. So you're saving $17 a month per vehicle times 20 vehicles times 40 times 100 vehicles, and maybe you go months on end without having to check. But reality is that you probably need to check a couple. So you budget an extra $100 or throw in into that equation an extra $100 for data for that spot checking or that accident, whatever the case is, and you're still so far below what you're paying on a monthly basis for some of the other standard traditional programs that have dominated this industry for since its inception, really. I mean, this is the very first time you're hearing about it, we're talking about it, we're rolling it out, and I suspect within 6 months, almost everybody's going to have something like this. They'll have to, because this is the only way that we can drive down these prices and get you something cheaper and still be able to operate a good business. So it's very exciting, very interesting. Just as a side note, we're actually throwing in a Geotab GPS telematics device for 50% off for customers that contact us and say, hey, I want CrewChief pay-as-you-go and a Geotab device together. So it's really the best of both worlds. You're getting video and great telematics together to give you the optimum service. So moving on, I've alluded to pricing. Typically, at the low end of the pay-as-you-go stuff, you're looking at a base fee of $13 or less, depending on volume and a couple other things, plus the data that you actually use, and then all the way up to somewhere between $30 and even as high as $50 a month, depending on a couple things like extra service plans, or if you're financing the equipment or things of that nature that would kind of be factored into a monthly fee instead of a capital investment. The other thing to take a look at is warranty. Most of these dash cams come with a 1-year warranty. If you do a rental model, which is possible, then that equipment would typically be replaced if it was ruined at no fault of your own, or if it just stopped working for some reason. But typically a 1-year manufacturer warranty against defects is what you're looking at. So if you sign a 3-year agreement and your warranty is 1 year, and that camera goes bad in 1 year, you've got to buy another camera to cover the other 2 years of your service agreement. So keep that in mind. If you go month to month, there is no warranty really. You're going to get a 30-day warranty, and that's going to be it. Because if the company providing you the technology says, well, you're only here for 30 days, then we're going to cancel our agreement with you at the end of the 30-day period, or you're going to have to buy another camera to continue service. So there's pros and cons to being under a service agreement of some type. Usually it provides protections for you and for us. It outlines the relationship, right? These are the things that we have to do for you, and this is what you can expect from us, and the rules of the game around warranties and payments and things like that. So the warranty is another big part of that. That is pretty much the gist of what you need to be looking at for dash cams. There are some other things like some integrations that may be done, access to APIs if you want to do integrations. That's just not something that most fleet customers are going to want to do. So hopefully this video has helped you kind of frame some of your thoughts about how to go about looking at dash cams. If we can help you in any way, shape, or form, if you just got some questions, whatever, give us a shout at 855-300-0527 or Fleetistics.com, and we'll be more than happy to sit with you and talk to you about what your goals are, first and foremost. And then, if we can help you, that's great. If we can't, maybe we can steer you in the direction of a particular product or service from somebody else that is an expert at what you need. So we appreciate your time and attention taking a look at this, and we hope to hear from you, and good luck with your fleet dash cam endeavors.